or cap T goes to infinity, is equal to 1 over R. Okay, we can actually see that ourselves. Let me go to Excel and let me do a blank sheet. So let's do R equals 5%. Okay, 1, 2. I'm gonna do quite a number of these. And I'm gonna add up 1 plus, that's 5%. Let's fix it. Raised to the power that. Of course, I'm gonna do 1 over. First year it's 95 cents. Second year, 90. By the time I come to, what's the max I did here? 179, it's less than 1/100th of a cent. And if you keep adding them up, first year, just that number. Second year, first year's number plus second year's number. As you can see, it doesn't change much at the end. And we know what it's supposed to converge to. It's supposed to converge to 20. 1 over 5% is 20, right? If I increase that number a little bit more, in fact, we will get, let me go down a bit more. In fact, as far as computer is concerned, there is no difference from 20. Technically speaking, it will still be less than 20, but for all intents and purposes, it's 20. So knowing that from basically basic calculus, basic actually pre-calculus, not even calculus, we know that it converges there. So if I tell you that company pays $10 dividend on a preferred stock and the proper discount rate is 10%, what are you going to tell me the value of that preferred stock? I mean, the formula is simple. Come on. I absolutely despise this OneNote, but that's the only thing I have. I mean, if Apple came up with something like this, it never would have had these issues. Okay. And dollar D1 is the expected dividend, expected constant dividend, and R is required rate of return. All right. So if I tell you that D1 is 10 and R is 10%, what is the value of that preferred stock? It's not a terribly complicated calculation. Given the numbers I chose, you can do it in your head. or in your phone, $10 divided by 10%, or $10 divided by 0.10, $100. Okay. If I said the discount rate was 5%, the answer would have been $200. So that part is easy. In fact, it is useful to calculate the value of a preferred stock. Now, I call that case 0 on purpose. I'm going to have a case 1. Next dividend is known, and all future dividends will grow at a constant rate of G, but we're going to restrict that growth rate to be less than the discount rate. The reason is the following. In that case, dividend at year t plus 1 is going to be dividend at year 1 times 1 plus G raised to the power t. It grows at a constant rate. So if I go back to this, generic equation and put them in, I can write that as and this converges to provided discount rate is greater than the growth rate. If growth rate is greater than the discount rate, that summation actually explodes into infinity. It doesn't converge anywhere. So if I can say, okay, next year I'm going to get $10 dividends from this stock, but I know that this thing is going to grow at 3%, and my discount rate is, let's say, 8%, then the stock is going to be $20. Why? You know, of course, that's $10 divided by 5%, not 20, I'm sorry, 200. 1 over 5% is like 20, right? Now, if you have a company that historically kind of increased their dividends in stable rates, then this model is useful to get a valuation for that company. Example is Coke. The last 60 years, every year they increase their dividends at a certain rate. It's not exactly the same rate, but you could basically come up with a certain number. Now, we actually have a template that I'm going to give to you guys. For now, don't worry about the additional stuff. Just to employ this, even though you can make the calculation by hand anyway, I only need to know the year 1 dividend. That terminal growth rate is the growth rate. So my required rate of return is 8. Growth rate is 3, and year one dividend is 10. Okay. As long as you're in that solver mode and your unknown is market value, it tells you what the value is. But you could also use this to do kind of a thought experiment. Given that what we expect next year's dividend is going to be, what is the price, what is the growth rate that is consistent with the current market value? Let's look at Coke. Let's go to financeyahoo.com. Come on, work with me. Since I didn't bring my internet thingy, I'm working on the Wi-Fi. Okay. And expected dividend for Coke for next year is $2.04. Okay. And current price is $71.56.